Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So, back with the long-term reviews. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Ganzo right here. This is the Ganzo. I believe this is the G704 or D704. I will confirm. This is a long-term review of this knife. So, just a few things I'd like to point out why I picked this up. This knife was sort of sub 800 Rand on Take-A-Lot, and I was looking for something sturdy yet decent, and I'd heard about Ganzo, but I'd never really looked into these knives in the past. And you know, when you compare flea market knives, Chinese knives, whatever the case may be, you get a large variety and range coming up from the sort of 200 Rand upwards price points. And this knife here sat at quite a high price point when it comes to a Chinese knife, but there's reasons for that. Ganzo have actually definitely won quite a lot of sort of followers and fans over the years because they make a really decent knife for the money. You get many brands, sort of rebrands and stuff like that, so OEMs as we call them, where the guys manufacture different knives for the different markets, etc. We see it every day. In fact, here in South Africa, we've got a couple of local brands which I can pick up the same knife in the China Mall as what you can order from some of the makers, etc. So, well, not makers, I wouldn't really call them makers. You can pick up the same knives from the China Mall as what you would be able to order from some of the local brands. But the problem with that being is there is different classes of qualities when it comes to OEM. You can get a cheap OEM. This isn't necessarily a cheap OEM. This isn't even an OEM. Ganzo make their own. This is a copy or a clone of something else, but they put their own branding on it. They don't try and pretend that it's anything else besides a Ganzo. So that's a good thing. I have no issue with that. Then you get the other OEMs where, for example, you could purchase them in different qualities. So I don't have an example right now, but I will show you a few in the upcoming videos where you can actually get differences in the quality levels, but the exact same maker is making both the knives. Where that would come from is, for example, your blade steel. Is there a difference in blade steels that are being used between the cheaper models and the more expensive ones? Sometimes not. It just depends. I've picked up some knives that were sort of 250 Rand flea market knives where I've seen the exact units coming out for sale and stuff like that from different importers. And you know what? It just depends. Yeah, I can't guarantee what the quality is of the different ones. Is it the same one? Is it not? But I do know about the OEMs, and I am in contact with quite a few of the Chinese OEM makers. You will see over the next coming months with the giveaways, the OEMs that are being made as giveaways, not by Ganzo, but by another person up in China. But for today, we're going to take a closer look at this Ganzo. It has been one of my EDCs for around a year now. I haven't used it quite extensively, but it's still a fantastic knife. It is fairly solid, and it is D2 tool steel, making it a little bit better than some of the cheaper alternatives. So let's get down on the bench, take a look at this. And I'm also on this video going to introduce something called the nerd factors, which is just out of 10 scales on how I rate the different knives that I'm going to be reviewing. So you will get like an edge retention 1 out of 10. You'll get a love of the knife 1 out of 10, or whatever the case may be, 1 to 10 out of 10. So I'm going to introduce that scale just so I can like sort of have a reference point over the knives that I like and which ones don't score as highly, etc. So let's check it out, guys. Hey guys, so here we have the Ganzo in question. As I mentioned, this is, I'm just taking a closer look, the Ganzo D704. Now, this is a sort of lookalike copy of another brand of knife from a much more expensive maker. I'm not too sure which one that is right now. I'd have to go back and reference it. This one here stands out for me for many reasons. This sort of carbon fiber vibe on the scales is it feels absolutely great, and it looks really, really good. This knife is easy to clean. As you can see, it's got no sort of closed off backspace over here, so you can get in there, clean it out. A really sturdy pocket clip. Some of those with that sort of thinning down of the pocket clip at the key points over here, they tend to bend in the pocket when you're getting in and out of cars, etc. This one doesn't have that problem. Even after a year, you can see how centralized it is, and you can see there's not much space between the scales and the blade. I'm not sure what this rides on, but it's pretty well made. This great jimping over here, and this is this ambi bar sort of lock mechanism, which you can see there. It's quite effective, actually. Yeah, really, really nice. This is a bit of a strange point for me, and something that I didn't like about the look, because you got a sharp point there and a sharpish point over there. But it's not an issue when you're actually using the knife itself. As you can see, it sort of slots in and it gives you a really great place for edge, sort of thumb retention. You can even bear down on it a little bit more to give you a little bit more cutting power, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, guys, this is a really great EDC knife. The steel on this is a D2 tool steel, meaning it could rust. They have given it a bit of a stone washed finish, which makes it quite nice in my opinion. I like it. This knife came out of the box razor sharp, and it's pretty easy to get the edge back on. You can see that jimping there, the thumb studs, and then that lock bar. So another thing just to point out, there is no hole for you to put a lanyard or a fob on, so you'd have to sort of tie it off onto something, but this one, there's nowhere really to do that with. You can move the pocket clip from left to right hand, or sorry, right to left hand, pocket carry. So yeah, not a bad knife all in all. I really like it. It stands out well. It's worked well for me. Just as a bit of a size comparison, let's just compare it to my Honey Badger, as that seems to be the comparison for anything. So on a size sort of scale, you can see it's very much similar size to the Honey Badger, making it a nice, easy, pocketable carried blade. As for the width, it is more or less the same. The blade is a slight bit thicker than the Honey Badger, but all in all, a really cool knife, and I think it works very well. It's an interesting design, not one I've seen very common. So yeah, I like it. I really do. I like it a lot. As for blade edge, it's got about the same as the Honey Badger for cutting edge. Different shape, obviously, more of a piercing point here, just to name a few things. But overall, a cool knife. I think something that many don't realize is these Ganzos are actually pretty good value for money. If you really dive into their technical specs, etc., they do put a really good knife together. The packaging is good. They come with these sort of little knife bags just to keep your blade in if you want to. I believe Ganzo makes tools in China, and this is, for all intents and purposes, another type of tool, I guess. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So just onto my likes. On the scale of, let's just start with edge retention on this knife. I would give this knife a 8 out of 10 for edge retention, because for me, D2 tool steel is not terrible with edge retention. And it gives a good balance between edge retention and ease of sharpening. This one has performed better than some D2 knives that I've used in the past with edge retention. So for that reason, it gets that score. For maintenance, this knife, I give it 9 out of 10 because it's really easy to strip it down, clean it up. You can get inside, as I showed you. There's no backspace stopping you from getting in there and blowing out any sort of lint or dust or anything like that. Get all the dust bunnies out, keeping it clean. Usability, I would give it a 9 out of 10 because the scale is really grippy. It's really good in wet, dry, whatever the case may be. It stands out well. It's a razor sharp knife if you maintain that edge, and the edge is really easy to maintain. Yeah, for all intents and purposes, I think this knife fits into that EDC vibe very, very well because it is a small pocketable knife. So it's easy to just slip into the pocket and let it ride along. It is not a deep carry, as you can see. So it does have some downsides to it. As for the pocket clip, I prefer this design to many other pocket clips that I've used because when it comes to pocket clips, what I was talking about just now is this sort of style pocket clip because of these thin pieces. If this hooks on the car when you're getting in, this thing ends up riding out here. And I've had that with many knives. I haven't experienced it with this one because this is quite a sturdy pocket clip. So that's a big plus. Blade shape and design, really cool. Jimping, really cool. Love it. You can, like I said, put some leverage down either with a forefinger. You can even get in like this and sort of use it as a skinner. It actually works quite well for that. Or you can get in there with your thumb and use it, get a bit of leverage, etc. It is a cool knife for all intents and purposes, and it's not a bad looking knife. So I think, yeah, it is a bit of a winner. A year of use, no issues at all. I've kept this guy pretty clean. I haven't done any sort of serious beating with it. It's only done some light cutting, some camp and outdoor sort of stuff. Nothing too hectic, no batoning, nothing like that. This is not the knife for that sort of scenario. So yeah, just my 10 cents, guys. Ganzo, they do make some winning blades, and I know this weekend has been a bit about Ganzo. I just wanted to show my two favorites from Ganzo, which is the G720 and the D704. Sorry, D or G? Sorry, G720 and this D704. I really like them. I think they're winning sort of models from Ganzo, and I'm keen to see what you guys' comments are on any other models from Ganzo that you think can step up to the plate of these knives. I do prefer them to be slightly thicker, more sturdy, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. That's pretty much it for this review, guys, and I hope this just brings a bit of light to my long-term use of this D704 from Ganzo. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Look out for some really cool reviews coming of some other knives. I've gotten some more knives in for review. And I'm also going to be doing some more long-term reviews and, of course, some hard-use reviews of certain blades. So keep watching, and also don't forget to keep an eye on the channel for those giveaways coming soon. As mentioned before, we're edging up to that 1,000 subscribers point. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, there will be some really cool giveaways. Hope you guys have a fantastic week, and until next time, cheers for now.